The Siren Within, How Men Project Their Inner Goddess Onto Women. Have you ever fallen in love with someone who seemed too perfect, so enchanting, so mysterious, that you felt drawn as if by a magnetic spell? What if I told you, that what you loved most in her was not her at all, but the forgotten goddess within your own soul? In the hidden chambers of ancient temples, initiates were warned, beware the siren, not only in the seas, but in the self. There is a secret tide within the masculine psyche, a longing, deep and unspoken, for the lost feminine. This longing takes shape in dreams, in art, and most powerfully, in the faces of women. But the siren is not a woman. She is a reflection. A mirage. A sacred echo from the depths of man's unconscious, his anima, as Carl Jung once named her. And when a man does not know her, he will project her onto the dancer in the flame, onto the lover in the dark, onto the stranger in the crowd whose eyes haunt him. He does not realize. He is not falling in love with her. He is falling in love with his own soul, wearing a mask. And this, my friend, is where the mystery begins. The Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, a modern mystic in a scholar's robe, spoke of a hidden feminine presence within every man. He called her the Anima, a Latin word meaning soul or breath of life. But the Anima is not simply an idea. She is an archetype, an eternal pattern, a sacred blueprint encoded in the male psyche since the dawn of time. And she takes many forms. In myth, she is Aphrodite, the goddess of irresistible beauty. She is Ishtar, the queen of heaven, seductive and dangerous. She is the lady of the lake, offering Arthur his sword, power, but at a price. She is the siren, whose song calls men toward their own transformation or destruction. Jung taught that when a man does not integrate his anima, when he has not come to know the feminine within himself, she slips beneath the surface of his awareness and begins to haunt his perceptions. She is no longer a guide. She becomes a shadowed seductress. And here lies the danger. Rather than see a woman clearly, he sees through her, projecting onto her the mystery, the beauty, the ecstasy he has yet to meet within himself. This is not love. It is enchantment. And enchantment, though beautiful, is not freedom. To love without illusion, a man must journey within. He must descend into the dark forest of his own soul, where the anima waits, not as a lover to possess, but as a mirror to awaken him. This is not just philosophy. It is an ancient map. The same one encoded in tarot, in tantra, in alchemy. But how can a man begin this descent? How can he recall the goddess within, so he may see clearly the woman without? Imagine standing at the edge of a still lake. You look into the water and see your reflection, not just your face, but something deeper, a shimmering image that feels ancient, eternal, almost divine. Now imagine mistaking that reflection for someone else. This is what happens when a man falls under the spell of his unrecognized anima. He meets a woman, and without knowing why, he is captivated. Not by her words, not by her deeds, but by something he feels, something ethereal, archetypal. He says she is his muse, his soulmate, his goddess. But often, what he is truly encountering, is his own unlived inner world. This is the projection game, and it is older than civilization. In the words of Robert A. Johnson, Jungian analyst and author of We, Understanding the Psychology of Romantic Love, we cannot tell the difference between a woman and the image we project upon her until the image shatters. These projections are powerful. They are the invisible scripts we cast onto others. A man may project his desire for beauty, mystery, nurturance, eroticism, or transcendence, all the qualities he has disowned or buried, onto a woman. And when she cannot live up to this divine image, which no human can, he may feel betrayed, disillusioned, or bitter. He says she changed. He doesn't realize, his mirror cracked. This is not to blame him, nor her. It is to awaken us to a deeper truth, that the sacred feminine he longs for was never truly out there. She was within him, all along, waiting to be remembered. Projection is not inherently wrong, it is a stage. A mirror. A necessary illusion that can lead to revelation, if we dare to look beyond it. And once the projection fades, what remains? The real work. The soul work. The alchemical task of reclaiming the goddess within, so that love becomes not a possession, but a path. The siren is not just a myth of the sea. She is a voice that rises from the deep within, a song from the subconscious, echoing with forgotten truths. For a man to reclaim his full power, he must descend into those depths. He must seek the inner siren, not to silence her, but to listen, to follow her song, not outward toward obsession, but inward toward initiation. This journey begins not with conquest, but with curiosity. Ask yourself, why do certain women entrance you? Why do particular traits, mystery, sensuality, emotional depth, stir something so profound within? These are clues. Symbols. The goddess within is calling through them. Carl Jung described this process as individuation, the integration of the unconscious into conscious awareness. When a man begins to know his anima, not as fantasy, but as energy, he steps into a deeper version of himself. He no longer seeks completion through a woman. He brings his wholeness to her. The inner siren becomes a guide, not a ghost. In dream work, she appears as the mysterious woman, the shapeshifter, the sacred partner. In active imagination, she may speak, dance, or even confront. She does not flatter, she awakens. She brings gifts, creativity, emotional intelligence, intuition, erotic aliveness. But she demands respect. She demands depth. She is not a prize, but a priestess of inner transformation. Practices to meet her include journaling dreams involving feminine figures or emotions, meditation on symbolic feminine archetypes, Kali, Isis, the Black Madonna, shadow work, especially around romantic and sexual patterns, artistic expression, drawing, music, poetry, as a bridge to the inner feminine. And most importantly, honest reflection on past loves, what was truly seen, and what was merely projected. To meet the inner siren is not to tame her, but to dance with her. To honor her chaos as part of creation. To allow her mystery to deepen you, not distract you. And when a man knows her, he is no longer possessed by fantasy. He is guided by truth. When a man has met the goddess within, something extraordinary begins to happen. He no longer seeks salvation in the woman across from him. He sees her clearly, not as a symbol, not as a savior, but as a soul. He no longer falls in love with a projection. He rises in love with her presence. This is the sacred union, not as fantasy, but as reality. In alchemical tradition, this moment is called the Konjunktio, the divine marriage of opposites. Not between man and woman, but between the inner masculine and inner feminine. Between logos and eros. Sun and moon. Sword and chalice. When this union occurs within, a man becomes whole. And from that wholeness, he can love another not from need, but from knowing. Not from longing, but from depth. The awakened masculine is not afraid of the feminine. He does not try to possess her, rescue her, or dominate her. He honors her as mystery embodied. He stands in presence, rooted and open, as the dance unfolds. And this changes everything. In relationship, he no longer panics when the goddess seems to disappear, because he has found her within. He does not confuse beauty with divinity, or chaos with betrayal. He listens. He holds. He respects. He lets go. He becomes a mirror, not a mask. A witness, not a wielder. A lover, not a seeker. This is not passive. It is powerful. The man who has integrated his anima becomes magnetic, not from charm, but from authenticity. He radiates something rare, a stillness that has touched the feminine mystery and not flinched. And the women who encounter him, sense this. They feel seen, not projected upon. They feel free, not idealized. This is the love that ancient mystics spoke of. Not the storm of projection, but the calm after the storm. Not possession, but presence. A union not of illusions, but of souls. A man goes on a quest for love, wandering deserts and oceans, temples and taverns. He meets many women, some dazzling, some destructive. He loves them, loses them, longs for them. But none fulfill the ache that lives in his chest like a wound from another world. Then, in silence, in solitude, he turns inward. And there, in the quiet halls of his soul, he meets her, not as fantasy, not as flesh, but as flame. The goddess he sought in the world was within him all along. This is not just myth. It is your story. The siren you project, the muse you chase, the ache you feel when you gaze into the eyes of a beautiful stranger, these are not distractions. They are initiations. Each one is a call from the deep. Each one is an invitation to turn inward and reclaim what was lost. Not to deny love, but to love truly. Not to stop feeling, but to feel clearly. The modern man, disconnected from myth and mystery, risks drowning in projections. But the awakened man, he swims in the sea of the feminine with eyes wide open. He sees the siren not as a trap, but as a teacher. To him, every woman is sacred. But none carry the burden of being his salvation. Because he has remembered. The goddess he seeks, is already within him. What you've just heard is not entertainment, it is initiation. If this message stirred something ancient within you, if you felt the whisper of the siren behind the words, then this is your sign, you are ready to go deeper. Subscribe to the channel if you hunger for more hidden truths, ancient teachings, and soul-altering revelations. Like this video to help awaken other seekers lost in the projection. Comment below. Who was your siren? What projection did you mistake for love? Your story may be the mirror someone else needs. Until then, walk with awareness. Listen for the deeper music. And remember, the goddess you seek is not out there in the world. She is waiting in the silence, within.